It's the 14th of March and still a bit of pruning here. I know I've done loads of pruning videos in the past, but time moves on, the orchard has matured. Last year no pruning got done, so these trees are over thick. This is a sunset. I'm just going to do a video of pruning this tree. It's on 106 rootstock. Sorry if there's a bit of wind noise. I've got some cotton wool over the speaker, it may or may not help. There's a lot of strong growth above from pruning it was done 2 or 3 years ago. You can see it was originally as an open centre. I grafted this tree, or rather I budded it. This came from a rootstock. I bought it and put one bud on it, so I grew this tree and planted it, and I've done all the care, so for better or worse I'm responsible. There's a bit of space in the middle, but it's very overgrown. You'll come and stand here, Julia, for a second. We can just see just how overgrown these branches. These branches are bent down very low. They're heavily fruited. And this is what happened. This is an upright branch here. This branch is quite low down. This would have been like this one, heavy crops, and it would have bent down and stuck in that position. So one of the main things we're doing when we're pruning is we're cutting back these well-fruited branches that have fruited for 2 or 3 years. A bit like a cordon, really. If you take a look at this individual branch, I often think of a tree as a system of cordons. And there's one up there. You can see that's like a very upright cordon. That'll fruit, it'll bend down. And here, this is interesting. You've got a very nice upright here, a nice clean upright. So I'm going to make a cut probably just through there, what I call an undercut. Just remove that one cut there, and that'll leave like this system of cordons will be removed. And this upright, this young little upright, that'll fruit. It'll grow up. It'll produce fruit bud. And then it'll fruit, and then eventually it'll bow down, and maybe 4 or 5 years from now it will be cut out. Anyway, so I'm just going to hand this to Julia. I think if you understand why you're pruning a tree, it'll help a lot. By the way, note this is a silky saw, it's any saw I ever use. This is quite blunt now, so it's only as sharp as an ordinary pruning saw. Do be careful with these. Right, so first thing to do is, having previously studied the needs of the trees, to walk around and take a look and see where am I going to make my first cuts. We mow under the tree, so we definitely want to remove wood that's growing a low down. So we'll take this out for a start. Just going to make a pile here. Note this pile of wood, okay? There's no wood there now, there will be wood when I'm finished. Right, here we've got, come around here, Julia, I just want to focus in on a few specific cuts. Remember this whole system of cordons thing I'm talking about? This is like a cordon here, this one, and it's cropped. We've had fruit off this 2 or 3 years, but it's heavy, it's very down, and now I'm just going to make one little cut here. What's one cut? I've taken this, like this cordon out. This is like a whole cordon. It's paid its way, it's done its job. And now this one is left in its space. That's left in its space, and that will become a cordon. There'll be fruit this year, fruit next year. A couple of years this will be bent down and heavy, and there'll be another branch. So this is, if you like, a form of replacement pruning. I'll take a few more out here. Again, this big piece up here, this is quite high. Look how tall this has got, 2 or 3 cordons there. So what I'm doing, I'm slicing this off to an upright facing replacement shoot. This is what I'm doing, is very much a replacement form of pruning. Taking a big cut out there. Another thing you need to do is remove stuff that's in the middle of the wood that's overcrowding. So quite often, a piece like this, that's coming out. There's the big bits overcrowding the centre of the tree. Overcrowding the centre. And can you begin to see where I'm going with this? It's a nice big space there where there was an overcrowded branch. What am I going to do about this here? I'm going to make a couple of radical cuts. Again, here, this is another big load of wood. This is all very nice. See this bit I've just cut out. That's quite a big piece. There would have been fruit on this next year, yeah, but you can't do pruning without removing some buds that would have fruited. It's optimum fruit, not maximum. Managing the tree over a period of time. I'm not going to talk through every single cut here. But again, there's some stuff in the middle, just a little bit untidy, just restricting the flow of air and light. Well, just seen better days. That's coming out. That one's coming out. That one's coming out. Gradually working my way around. This is again a bit over the top here. I'm going to take that one out. Right. This is a bit low. I'm going to take this out too. You don't want to go too high either. This is an open centre dwarf bush. By the way, don't bother, by all means make any comments below, but don't bother telling me that the pyramid system is better, because arguably it may be, but this is, I manage this as a dwarf bush orchard. That's the way it is. Right, this is all a bit much. Again, going underneath the tree with the ride-on mower, this gets in the way. So once again, I'm removing a bent down branch to give space to an upright branch, which will fruit and eventually bend down. So it's
also the fruit that forms on those very low branches pulls the branches right down. It can sometimes even touch the ground. It doesn't form very well. It's more likely to get disease on it or damaged.
Again, this is all perfectly good wood, but you know, it's, you see again what I've got in my hand, it's like a cordon, there are two cordons. But it's going too high. I'm going to go low so I can manage it earlier. This is a sort of in-between branch. I'm going to come around here and film it close up, Julia, please. See, this is, again, it's a bit too overcrowded. I often say to people, pruning is like this. Okay, 5 branches, take that one clean out, take that one clean out, leave those 3 alone. And that's generally how I do it. So here's a branch that's in the middle, and it's just crowding the air and the light. You see what I mean? That doesn't look particularly overcrowded. Always look out for diseased wood. It's a bit of diseased wood there. I'll put it on the ground. I'll just put it over there. We're going to take that to be burned. Right, now don't get out of control. Stand back, take a broad view. Oh, just done that. You know, progressively, as you're working your way through the tree, every now and then stop, stand back, have a look, and you may occasionally spot a bit of canker. There's only one thing to do with canker, burn it. Right, so I'm going to stand back and take a view of the tree. Balance, I'm always looking for balance in life. It's a bit out there. I'll take that out as well. Right, I'm nearly finished with the saw. Yeah, I think this one can go as well. Right, some of this needs to be cut back as well, so the secateurs I think are going to need to come out. Just take that one out, I think. Right. Stand back, take a broad view. One more big cut I'm going to make, I think. Again, this one here, we've got 2 branch systems here. I'll take it out to one below, remembering the tendency always of the tree. It grows up, it bears fruit, it pulls itself down, it gets in your way, then you remove it, you replace it. Remove, replace. Okay, saw back in the sheath. Take a look at this, Julia. You can see what a pile of wood I've taken out. Now if you look at the tree, walk around it. Nice big space in the middle. Nice big space in the middle of the tree. Air and light. There's still quite a lot of fruit bud. This is a sunset. Sunset always produces too much fruit. So you have to thin it. So don't worry. We're after the best fruit and ease of management. As I said, we manage this with ride on nose. So we don't want to keep banging our heads, right, poking our eyes out. There's one more thing that probably needs to be done here, and that is quite a few of these smaller branches. You see I've got my secateurs out now. Quite a few of these need to be cut back. I'm just going to stick that one back to fruit bud. Back to bud. Yeah, some of these are just a bit too long. I'm not going to cut all of these, some of them. I'm not going to finish this job right now because it'll, given the body of the video, it's over long. But here I'm just cutting back to a fruit bud. Just close in here, Julia. Just cutting back to a fruit bud. Cutting back to a fruit bud. Cutting back to a fruiting spur. Take that one out. Cut back to a fruit bud. Back to a fruit bud. Back to a fruit bud. Back to fruit buds. Everyone will develop their own style of pruning. I try to show what I do and talk about the general principles. I'm just going to quote a bit of Rudyard Kipling here. But yeah, I had 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names were what and where and when and why and how and who. So rather than simply follow a prune by numbers thing, understand the principles behind what you're doing and then prune appropriately. And I will say this once again, the saw is much more important than the secateurs. You do need both. And if you buy one of these Silky saws, Silky Gomtaro apple saw, if you can get one, it'll cost you about £40–45. But if you've only got 4 or 5 trees in your garden and you take care of it, it'll last you a lifetime. Whereas if you wear your wrist out, you don't have a problem with that. And also this makes extremely clean cuts compared to an ordinary saw. And you've seen the way I've been going through these. Well, this is I think 2 years old now, so it's nearly up for renewal. But finally, Julie, just home in on here. Showing this one at random. Okay, it's a bit rough, but you see what a nice clean cut these saws make. Okay, well thanks, that should be about right. And here's the next one.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, I've got enough work to do. No gym today, I don't need it.